0317 local time, Philippine Sea. The carrier strike group moved through the dark water in perfect formation. At its center, a US Navy aircraft carrier, a floating city bristling with radar arrays, escorts, and layered defenses designed to repel everything from submarines to ballistic missiles. This was not a combat mission. It was a routine transit, but at 3:17, routine vanished. The first anomaly, inside the carrier's Combat Information Center, a radar operator leaned forward. "Sir, I'm getting multiple low-altitude contacts. The tactical display filled with faint dots, too small for aircraft, too numerous for birds, too coordinated to be weather. Speed, slow. Altitude, extremely low. Pattern, converging." The air defense officer frowned. "How many?" The operator swallowed. "We're counting dozens, possibly more. Drones." Within seconds, electro-optical sensors confirmed it. Small aerial vehicles, drones, rising from multiple directions at once. Some skimmed just above the wave tops. Others climbed slowly, deliberately, almost cautiously. They weren't charging. They were surrounding. The carrier group had trained for missiles, for submarines, for manned aircraft. But this was different. Unverified. Origin question. Early assessments suggested the drones were launched from multiple platforms, possibly Chinese naval auxiliaries, fishing vessels, or even modified commercial ships operating far beyond the visible horizon. None of this has been officially confirmed, but the geometry didn't lie. This swarm was planned. The carrier goes quiet. 0319 hours. The carrier's captain issued a calm order. Set condition yellow. No radar illumination. No weapons release. The goal was clarity, not escalation. The escorts adjusted formation, spreading slightly to widen sensor coverage. Destroyers and cruisers switched to passive tracking, watching the swarm without announcing themselves. The drones kept coming. The scale becomes clear. 0322 hours. More contacts appeared, then more. The tactical plot now showed over 60 drones and counting. Different sizes, different speeds, different altitudes. Some carried cameras. Some emitted weak radar signatures. Others appeared almost invisible, detectable only through infrared flickers. The intel officer whispered, "This isn't reconnaissance." The captain didn't answer. He already knew what a drone swarm really is. A drone swarm isn't meant to destroy. It's meant to overload, to force defenders to choose. Which target matters, which one is real, which one is bait. And as analysts have long warned, if defenders fire too early, they reveal everything. The first radio call, 0324 hours. A transmission cut across maritime emergency frequencies. Foreign military formation. You are operating near Chinese-claimed waters. Identify yourself and state your intentions. The voice was calm, controlled. The carrier group did not reply. Under international law, it didn't have to, and replying would confirm exactly what the swarm was trying to map. Unverified, command debate. Later, unverified reports suggested a tense debate unfolded inside the carrier's command spaces. Do they jam the drones now and expose electronic warfare profiles? Do they launch fighters and escalate the encounter? Or do they wait and risk the swarm getting closer? Every option had consequences. The drones close in, 0327 hours. The nearest drones were now inside 5 nautical miles. Some climbed to eye level with the carrier's island superstructure. Others hovered just beyond the escorts, circling like insects. The sound reached the deck crew first, a faint buzzing carried by the wind. Unsettling, personal. One sailor muttered, "It's like they're watching us breathe." The first malfunction, unverified. Then something strange happened. One drone suddenly dropped altitude. Its control surfaces fluttered wildly before it splashed into the sea. Another followed, then a third. Unverified sensor logs later suggested localized interference, but no one aboard the carrier confirmed any electronic action. Officially, nothing had been activated. The swarm adapts, 0330 hours. The remaining drones adjusted instantly. They spread wider, changed altitudes, reduced emissions, as if learning, as if responding to something unseen. The intel officer spoke quietly. "Sir, these aren't pre-programmed." The captain nodded. "They're adaptive." The escorts move. 2 US destroyers subtly increased speed, shifting position to form a tighter defensive arc. Their decks remained quiet. No missiles uncovered, no guns tracking visibly. But every system was awake, watching, waiting, unverified. A second layer, unverified intelligence, later claimed subsurface contacts were detected during the swarm, possibly unmanned underwater vehicles coordinating with the aerial drones. This has never been confirmed, but if true, the carrier group was facing a multi-domain probe. Air, sea surface, below the surface, all at once. The silent order, 0334 hours. The drone hovered above the carrier's flight deck, its camera swiveling slowly, deliberately. The carrier's captain didn't raise his voice. He didn't rush. He simply said 2 words, execute option 3. No alarms, no announcement, but across the carrier group, systems shifted, quietly. Unverified, electronic warfare activated. Official statements would later insist no electronic countermeasures were employed, yet unverified sensor logs tell a different story. Within seconds, multiple frequency bands across the task force spike, not with noise, but with precision interference, narrow and targeted, not a blanket jam, a scalpel. The first cascade, 0335 hours. The hovering drone shuddered, its stabilizers fought for balance, then its video feed froze. It drifted sideways, clipped the carrier's safety netting, and dropped harmlessly into the sea. Almost simultaneously, 3 more drones faltered. One lost altitude, another spun wildly, a third went dark. The swarm hesitated, just for a moment. The swarm breaks formation. That moment mattered. Instead of tightening in, the drones pulled back, increasing spacing, changing altitudes, shifting control logic. To outside observers, it looked chaotic. To analysts, it looked like something else entirely. A system recalculating. Unverified AI control. Unverified intelligence later suggested portions of the swarm were managed through semi-autonomous control, allowing rapid adaptation when individual units failed. If true, it marked a dangerous threshold, drones no longer waiting for instructions, but learning in real time. The carrier group was no longer being watched, it was being studied. The American countermove, 0338 hours. Without launching a single missile, the carrier group responded. Fighter aircraft were spotted on deck, not taking off, but rolling forward into view. Electronic emissions shifted again, briefly stronger, then silent. A message without words. The drones reacted immediately. Several turned outward, retreating beyond visual range. Others climbed higher, attempting to regain signal strength. The second layer reveals itself, unverified. Then sonar operators aboard one of the destroyers reported something unsettling. Possible unmanned subsurface contact, bearing 210. Weak, slow-moving, artificial. Unverified reports later claimed at least 2 underwater drones disengaged at the same time the aerial swarm began pulling back. Coordination, multi-domain, deliberate. The tipping point, 0341 hours. One remaining drone surged forward, faster than the rest. Its profile changed. Emissions increased sharply. The air defense officer stiffened. That one's different. The captain stared at the screen. It wasn't armed, but it was transmitting. Hard, wideband, broadcasting everything it could see. The line is drawn. The captain made his decision. Remove it, not destroy, not intercept, remove. A US destroyer's close-in electronic countermeasure system activated, briefly and precisely. The drone's signal vanished. It didn't explode. It didn't crash. It simply dropped dead weight. The swarm retreats, 0343 hours. That was enough. The remaining drones turned away almost in unison. Some descended toward the sea. Others climbed sharply before banking east. Within minutes, the swarm was dispersing, not fleeing, but withdrawing in an organized pattern. The message had been received. The sky goes quiet again. By 3:48, the carrier group was alone once more. No buzzing, no hovering cameras, no probing signals, just dark water and distant stars. The captain finally exhaled. Stand down to normal operations. But no one on board truly relaxed. They all understood what had just happened. What this really was. This wasn't an attack. It was a stress test. China had tested how quickly a carrier group detects a swarm, how it reacts without firing, what electronic signatures appear under pressure, how escorts reposition, how command decisions are made in silence, and America had answered. Without escalation, without exposure, without firing a single shot. Unverified, strategic consequences. In the days following, unverified intelligence summaries suggested Chinese naval planners were surprised, not by the carrier's strength, but by its restraint. The swarm didn't provoke chaos, it provoked discipline, and discipline is harder to exploit. The unwritten warning, no statements were released, no protests filed, no footage leaked, at least officially, but somewhere, analysts replayed the data, frame by frame, signal by signal, and the conclusion was unavoidable. The drone swarm revealed the future, and the future is quiet, adaptive, and terrifyingly patient. Final thought, carrier groups were once protected by steel and missiles. Now they're protected by something else: control, precision, and the ability to say no without ever pulling the trigger. Because in modern warfare, the side that stays calm usually knows something the other side doesn't.